Chinese guys, Zhongkenshan, what do you call the company? Sees the plane and sees it well. Let him enter public transport. The Chinese people, they permit my French, you know.
The French are involved, so you're allowed.
Yeah. They will seize us. Now she jump in. I go stand for airport. They wait like this. He go to Pankere. He wear big trousers.
China will own Africa.
You're gonna need a lot of therapy, my brother.
No, I mean, we're shocked, and then what do we do?
As a nation, we need therapy. We have all normalized trauma.
You see, the level of any awareness in Nigeria is what pisses me off all the time.
Let's talk about the controversial Kenyan statues. I had a ceremony.
Did you see what you just showed us? When you look at statues, right, and you look at them with every sense of optimism, as an African, you will weep.
The time they just do like this. Ruto need better blow. Let's go and seize Ruto. China, do your job.
The case of Afrobeats and Jamaica is like the case of the little sister who keeps going into her big sister's closet. Why do I need to ask you for permission?
Respect to the man himself, you know, the damn guy, Buju Banton. However, Baba, leave all this thing. We don't owe Jamaica anything.
You see this love for Afrobeats, it did not just come from Burna Boy's voice or Whiskey's in brown skin girl. No. Oh, Jejemako brown skin girl. He said that our Yoruba demon shit, doing it for the culture.
Hey, wait.
Welcome to the Tribe Africa. Let's get right into it. According to Amnesty International, over 1,000 protesters have been arrested by the Nigerian government because of the recently concluded End Bad Governance protests. These were demonstrations throughout Nigeria that took place from August 1st to August 10, 2024, due to the increasing cost of living in the country. So the question now is, why are we not talking about these arrests enough?
I believe most times when there are protests, you would always have some elements that would take advantage of those protests to break the law. Whether people were wrongfully arrested is another discussion, but people do get arrested during protests.
Nigeria, unfortunately, we've been conditioned to accepting things that are not normal. And this is supposed to be a democracy. People are basically being told they cannot protest. People are being tear gassed. People are being killed. People are being arrested. And we're just like, it's Nigeria. It's like what happened with SARS. People got killed and the protest ended. In other climes, a revolution basically happens. Now, am I calling for a revolution? Not necessarily, but a revolution is not necessarily a bad thing. But in Nigeria, unfortunately, because they know the pattern of the people, once they introduce those elements of violence, everything gets shut down.
There are still people in prison from SARS of 2020. You know, so till now, and that's 4 years down the line, going on 5 years now. There are people who have broken the law and stepped out of the boundaries of protesting to make it into destruction of properties. Yes, that should be brought to book. However, it must be done within the confines of the laws of the land. And we'll keep speaking to make sure those guys get treated fairly. You know, their rights are not taken away from them until they get full justice. I'm sure some people are talking about it. Maybe it's not just as mainstream as it should be. However, then again, last, you go see and say, you know, say this matter, Nigeria. When person don't look and say, man, you never chop, you get mama for village. You go look and say, man, they can enter your own house. You understand?
Some of the reports give the figure as 1,423 protesters. No bail has been given. No lawyer was present. I just want to conclude by saying, Bola Tinubu has shocked me in that I never in my life imagined he would be this draconian. I never imagined him to be this person that I am seeing. Even for me, I am in shock.
You know, this is the thing here. For someone like him who has probably lived his whole political life via protest and, you know, position. He has someone, when he was governor of Lagos, Obasanjo was in the main party, he was in the opposition party. They had problems, you know. So he has always been a fighter, in quote, you know. But now you are in power and your party, it's not a opposition party. You guys are the main party. I want to stifle and shut down and shoot down and destroy anybody who's trying to quit. So it's just like that saying that, you know, what you do to people, don't want them to do to you. You know, just human nature.
We all grew up in Nigeria. We know how it turns out every time. Civil society folds their hands when it gets to a certain level. A lot of people have been incarcerated for things they did not do. You know, there are so many stories of unlawful arrest, illegal detention. You know, people are waiting trial their entire lives. You know, so when it gets to a point where people have become used to these things, when the abnormal has become normal, you become cold, deaf, dumb, blind to all of these things. It just makes you resign to fate. Such resignations can be very, very, very tragic.
But outside of those distractions, if you are in the news and these stories are not shocking to you, you're going to need a lot of therapy, my brother or sister.
No, I mean, we're shocked. And then what do we do?
As a nation, we need therapy. We have all normalized trauma in Nigeria.
It's a sad thing that I'm not particularly astonished by this. However, I understand where you're coming from, Gloria. You know, there's a certain level of anyhowness. That's how it's used to describe Nigeria, that we get used to and where it's okay. You know, you cannot just walk on the street, protest, and then next thing, you go from a police station, before you know it, there's a kangaroo trial at the magistrate court, you go to jail. You know, so there is a history of this nonsense going on, and there are people that have paid the ultimate price. So sometimes when you hear about them, you're just like, you know what? I don't believe there's a Messiah coming to save Nigerians. But I don't also think Nigerians are going to be angry enough to defend themselves. Someone told me something about when you get close to the wall, you turn around. Like, Nigerians will break that wall and continue the run. If there's no wall, they will dig the ground.
What are Juju? I've been I don't know if they hold us. I don't know, but we just did. We will survive.
By the way, the House of Representatives introduced a bill to clamp down on anybody who refuses to recite the national anthem. We're talking of sentences as long as 10 years.
They go arrest.
Is there any member of that House of Rep that can recite
that thing? Yep.
Somewhere in between service and leadership and followership, and then that vacuum is so wide that people are not even faced with the reality of everyday Nigerians. They see that national anthem, they know there's no reward for heroes past. They know that any labor is in vain. They know that nobody lives with power and might. You see, our national anthem is a command. Arise, so compatriots. It's telling Nigerians to arise, and it's a Nigeria's call you must obey. They don't do any of those things, so they don't feel those words carry nothing. When you hear Americans sing Star Spangled Banner, I found that at one event the other. Even me go on goosebumps, hold me.
This brings us to the next topic: the Nigerian presidential jet seizure. A French court seized 3 Nigerian presidential jets amid a legal dispute with Chinese firm Zhongzhang Fusheng Industrial Investment Company Limited. Zhongzhang then released one of the seized planes as a goodwill gesture. This is to allow a scheduled meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron. Shortly after, Ogun State's former governor, Ibikunle Amosun, admitted to mistakenly transferring control of a free trade zone to questionable Chinese investors during his tenure. What are your thoughts?
I'm particularly upset. I am upset because this is what has held us down as a nation. You see that many times, once an initiative has been put in place by, say, PDP, or even the same party, like I said, the governor does this, as long as the successor is not on the same page with that governor, all projects implemented, initiated, by that government suffer. And so it just also seems like
there's no continuity,
and they're acting like they're in total isolation. So they come with their new ideas, their new cronies, their new proxies, their new conduit pipes, and then they cancel all projects. There's no regard for contract. There's no regard for the law. There's no regard for business engagement. And so these things, it happens all the time. And the moment this thing comes into place, the country is held responsible. It's no longer the person, which is why I said Nigeria needs strong institutions, not strong persons. This same free trade zone thing is what happened in Ondo State. Dangote was not supposed to be in Lagos. It was supposed to be in Ondo, Lokola. All of these personality clashes, selfish interests deprive the entire state of an opportunity of having free trade zone. So Benga Daniel did this. Why can't Ibukule Amosun honor the obligation? It's on Ogun State. It's not on Benga Daniel or Shegun Shoba. Or it's an Ogun State investment. You see, the level of any awareness in Nigeria is what pisses me off all the time. That's how Iboritu went and sold V-Mobile shares belonging to Delta State. The way we personalize public service and, in Nigeria, it's really annoying, honestly. So they have to give us our jets for our president to fly back. And then what's going to happen? After the meeting, they will collect jets from him.
But you see,
And
But you
again,
see,
the Chinese are becoming too powerful in Africa, though.
the Chinese people, they fuck up. Permit my French,
The French are involved, so you're allowed.
Yeah. They mess up where you know why? Why would you release that plane for Tinubu to even go anywhere? Hold it. Seize the plane and seize it well. Let him enter public transport. Let him enter public plane. Let him seek an economy. Hold it in. Worst case scenario, when they drive to Sahara, they can't go where they go. Hold it in. Hold the plane. Don't give them back anything. If you guys had a contract and they use Nigerian national assets as collaterals, when it's time to seize it. Seize it. They should seize in fact, they should seize everything. If you've gone to somebody and you guys signed a contract, agreement. If you don't fulfill your part of the agreement, it's up to they have every right to do whatever they need to do. So let them seize those planes. Chinese guys, Zoom Kenshon, what do you call the company? If you're listening to me, listen to me loud and clear. La machine, la follow plane, no give them again.
At the end of the day, right, of what benefit is this aircraft and all these things tonight? My only anger is this, right? How does a state government, sign an agreement with a foreign company, a foreign firm, not even the whole, or not the Chinese government, just a company, just an establishment, right? And Nigerians, national assets or maybe our jets are used as collateral. I don't understand that part. I mean,
most times when you engage at that level, remember that most contractors in China are government agents. Forget all those CIC they have used as economic hits,
proxy from the government.
So once it gets to that level, they always ask for some sort of guarantee from the federal government. So it's a contingent liability on the federal government. Wow. It does not. Wow. It's not a liability until it crystallizes. Almost like people don't care, because if there is a burden of responsibility on you as a state government, and you know that you're not backed by a federal collateral, you fulfill your obligation. Put people who want to come into Nigeria with genuine projects in positions where they are having to run from pillar to post because of situations like this. So there is no repercussion, no accountability.
This whole contract or agreement was reached, during Benga Daniel, right? Who is the senator right now? So he's still alive. It's not like the man is dead. But of course, he will not face nothing. Will not face. This guy came now. Amusu came as a witch that he is. He did not agree to the agreement, and now here we are today. They're seizing Tinubu jet. Made a sesame. This is just a contract that was signed, an agreement that was reached between one state in the 36 states of Nigeria with a company in China. So imagine the money that Nigeria itself as a country is owing China. By the time that time comes and we cannot pay back, they will seize us. By the time we know if we pay back our loans to the country of China as a whole, now she jumping, now he go stand for airports. They wait like this. He go to Pankere, she jump, he go see the man, he wear big trousers, if he catch you, if he hold you.
We're going to get there.
The way we're borrowing from these guys, the chances that we'll not be able to pay back is very
A time will come when there will be Chinese officials as receivers in Nigeria. I'm telling you. Write today's date down. We go cap in hand in every situation, even when we have the upper hand. We so much want aid, debt. We don't think of trade. That's why every time we're always at the receiving end of any kind of exploitation that you can think of, whether it's human resources, whether it's mineral resources. The black man is always at the receiving end of any kind of exploitation. And it's not that we don't have capacity. We're just led by people who want to steal us blind. China will own Africa. The funny thing is they come like an alternative to the West. They're worse.
A time is coming. Kim Jong-un with him big pants from North Korea and President Xi Jinping from China with another big trouser. They're going to flog Nigerians. They watch now. By the time to pay back time comes, you see what will happen. I'm telling you. This one is just one state, Ogun State. There's 6 planes.
3 planes.
3 planes. Just imagine like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that 15, 16, 17 states. Just don't owe them debt like that. Hey, Chineke. Any state governor, please pay them their loan. No.
Now we're going into sports. Olympic gold medalist boxer Iman Khalif, who we have discussed on this show. Iman Khalif has filed an online harassment complaint with French authorities, naming South African ex-CEO Elon Musk and Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. An investigation was launched following Khalif's complaint involving allegations of cyber harassment based on gender, public insults related to gender and origin, and incitement to discrimination. Khalif, who won gold in the 66-kilogram women's boxing division, gained viral attention during the 2024 Paris Olympics when her opponent Italian boxer Angela Carini withdrew just 46 seconds into their match.
The punch be like iron. They punch, they Chris. You don't your blow before your father.
Musk, Musk and Rowling both posted comments about Khalif, with Rowling saying Khalif was enjoying the distress of a woman he's just punched in the head. I highly recommend, again, you listen to our previous podcast where we talked about a man's gender, bringing up a lot of conversations during the 2024 Olympics. What does it mean for a woman to have an XY chromosome? So during fetal development, most females have two X chromosomes, XX, and most males have one X and one Y chromosome, or XY. Hormones aid the development of reproductive organs before birth and during puberty. However, in some pregnancies, reproductive organs may not develop typically due to conditions known as differences in sex development, or DSD. So that's the scientific explanation on what's going on with Iman Khalif.
This is a biological issue. It's not a matter of choice.
No, it's completely.
She has not chosen to be male or female. Yeah. All right. Okay. Kabuchi, I think you had a very strong view about this.
Okay, fine. So it's a biological defect. I mean, she didn't make herself. She was born like that, or he was born like that.
Kabuchi, you're still standing on what you said, but what are your thoughts on the fact that Khalif is suing these people? Do you think it's justified?
If she's suing, then she has to prove that she's actually a woman. She has to bring like tests and going by she being XY chromosome in her DNA makeup, and if this test prove that it's XY, the other guys on the other side of the divide will have a case too. Elon and the rest of these guys. So it's not going to be a walk in the park. She's not just going to sue them and she'll just get like, oh, okay, I won the case. It's going to be a long ass battle. There will be a lot of tests that will be done, a lot of medical tests. Examiners will be called to question. They will have to come and testify in the court under oath and all of that. She has the right to sue. However, the other guys on the other side of the divide, like Elon and JK and all of these people, and even Trump, those have the right to say, okay, we'll subject you to further tests. Trust me, they will also have supporters. Why she also has supporters?
How does your argument hold water if she has female genitals?
I've never seen it. And you're not
see it. I'm just saying.
Well, how are you sure she does have it? Or who has seen it?
I'm just saying. I'm not.
It goes beyond that, because we're talking about her makeup on the inside.
You cannot hold her to that. We are being put in a position where we have to respect their pronouns.
Okay, but I'm saying that
people who were male and decided to be female. Okay. She did not choose that.
All of this might have been happening, but for some reason has picked, this level of media coverage and all that. I can't dictate on or control how the world decides to operate, The main thing is that she's the one right here now. We're talking about her, and we're gonna get to the end of it. I wish her the best. I hope she gets a great life.
I'm happy she sued though. So whenever the spotlight is on Africa, everybody has a voice. Let's turn that around.
But don't forget that the guys on the other side of the divide also has the right to sue back. Yeah.
Still speaking of sports, let's talk about the controversial Kenyan statues. Ahead of the ceremony declaring Eldoret as Kenya's fifth city, President Ruto hosted the athletes who won medals at the 2024 Olympics. Kenya ranked as the top African nation at the Paris Olympics, finishing 17th on the medal table with 4 gold medals and a total of 11 medals. Now, statues.
Good job, Kenya.
Yes, Kenya. Statues of 3 athletes have been erected throughout the city, but many Kenyans struggled to recognize who the athletes were supposed to be. After much investigations by netizens, it was revealed that one statue was of Eliud Kipchoge, who sadly was unable to finish the marathon due to a back injury. Here is what Eliud looks like. Here is the statue. A second statue was revealed to belong to Faith Kipyegon, who won the 1,500 meters title, setting a new Olympic record of 3 minutes, 51.29 seconds, and becoming the first woman to win 3 consecutive golds in this event. She also secured a silver in the 5,000 meters. Here is what Faith looks like. And here is the statue. So you can see how the internet could go up in flames. One person said it represents Kenya's collective mediocrity as a country, and another person said that whoever did this will not see heaven.
I find this really amusing, and I do so because I used to think that anyhowness was solely something you would find in Nigeria. This is beyond ridiculous. It speaks truly to mediocrity, though. It also speaks to our lack of vision, right? You cannot tell me Kenya as a country cannot commission reputable sculptors. Did you see what you just showed us?
And you say one of those guys was Elliot Wu, the other older man?
Kipchoge.
No, that's not Elliot Kipchoge. That one is Idiot Kipchoge. That's tattoo. That's not Idiot Kipchoge. No disrespect to the legend, though, but that's not the mood that is. The Kenyan government, right? They need to come to a man called Rochas Okorocha in Imo State. Rochas was giving us statue every 2 market days, every 2 AK and
4 days.
Yeah.
4 days, you give us statue. They should have come to Rochas. Say Rochas, can you wait? Even though Rochas statue, Hope was the hopeless man, has distressed some of them. Money wasted.
When you look at those statues, right, and you look at them constructively, with every sense of optimism and patriotism as an African, you will weep.
And the other one is faith, right? That's a faithless statue. Very faithless. The statue just be like this.
I would not be surprised if it cost millions.
Yeah. Now someone has cashed out.
They took down the statues.
Of course. I'm
They
sure
should
they
not call them statues. Is that it? Is the way called ere?
This was not carving. Maybe
I do commend them for taking them down because government listen to the people, and if they didn't see how ridiculous.
Not the same Kenya that the youths have been rioting. No, Ruto need better blow. They should go and seize Ruto, seize everything. China, do your job. When we need you, you not do. Seize all this Ruto, seize them. Ruthless Ruto, seize them. This is Kenya that the youths have been protesting. You not give them faithless and the idiot this is Capuchigon. Nah, man. China, hurry up. Come on, seize all these leaders. Let them go. Come and start catching African children.
What? There's some silver lining. Each athlete received monetary rewards as part of the initiative to motivate high performance. Yay. Meanwhile, the Botswana government is asking for citizens to donate to an Olympic reward pot so that they can give the money to their Olympic team. So now people are asking what happened to their taxes and why is the government not leading by example?
All the money, all the taxes that they've been making and all the resources from that country, somebody has been embezzling that money. And this is the first time an African is actually winning 200-meter gold. And this is the first time Botswana is winning any gold in the Olympic by Tebogolo. They could not even honor this guy and even give him something. I mean, they can't get loan from China now.
So, tens of thousands of people gathered in the national stadium to welcome the Olympic team home. And that day was actually declared a half-day holiday by President Masisi. So to come and then say they should
Holiday without money
is very confusing. But anyway, now to our entertainment gist. I know you all have been waiting for this. In a recent interview, Buju Banton expressed his profound disappointment at the lack of respect and homage from Afrobeats artists. Here is what is said on the Drink Champs podcast.
But I was happy when they came to their senses to realize that music is the bridge that's going to connect us. But what I was disappointed in, they didn't try to connect with Jamaica, the roots. They connect with everyone else except us.
And you talking about Afrobeats?
Yes.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
So they connected with everyone else except us. But when we look at what they're doing, their music is not free in Africa. It's far cray.
I didn't know what to say.
The music needs to free Africa. If I am all the way in Jamaica and my country and my people fight for free your continent with word, sound and power, and you have the ability now and all you're singing is fuckery, you don't sing a song to free Africa all now. We'll need them bringing this to the forefront of your mind, but we desire more from them. You want the money? Go get it. But what's going to be said about you later on and your posterity? You didn't make any impact. So reggae music still stands predominant. It is still the king's music.
He has a few points. Everybody is just singing and music is prosperous as it is and they're making money. But there's no level of expected social consciousness in the music that's being put outside. But I am of the argument that it's about time and chance and then the generation. Today's generation, they operate with the mini schedule. Short enough to draw attention, long enough to cover what's required. They're not particularly concerned about the deep things that people like you and I experienced, people like Buju Banton experienced, you know? It's different. Now they just want something melodious. They just want to sing. They just want to dance. And then if you argue from the point of the lack of content in the delivery that our songs are put forward, Buju Banton makes a lot of sense. Where I'm offended, or particularly not pleased with what he said, is that we are not giving them credit. On what grounds, please? Whatever it is that Jamaica is in terms of music is based on the roots of Africa. There will be no Jamaica without Africa. That nation being formed because of the transatlantic slave trade. So whatever it is that Jamaica has become today in terms of reggae and Bob Marley and music, it is as a result of that foundation of music that we carried, from Africa. So Africa is the roots. Africa is the source. Now, does it make sense in terms of Afrobeats crossing over and becoming mainstream? I believe that reggae did play a role in that because reggae had global acceptance ahead of Afrobeats. We cannot deny that. Because of the fact that a lot of people kind of like listen to reggae, it made it easier to cross over to Afrobeat. When you talk about collaborations and giving credit, I do not know any big Jamaican artists that people probably would have collaborated with. Buju was in prison. Shaggy is now a presenter in Jamaica. Sean Paul. I mean, who from Jamaica is big now globally in terms of music?
First of all, respect to the man himself, the damn gaga, Buju Banton. He has paid his dues. He has made a name for himself. He has to be respected. He's a living legend.
It is.
Whether you like it or not. However, if I can translate this to him in patois, Baba, leave all this thing. We don't owe Jamaica anything. Baba, no, let's live in peace and harmony. Let's just live in love. I know he talked about he used to come to Africa, sit under the baobab tree, in Ghana and all these places, talk to people about and all of that. What he's basically saying is that he wants Africans to do more conscious music. If the people don't do conscious music, you can put it in their mouth, All you got to do is try and hope and talk to them about it. And if they put in their album, good and if they don't, we keep it moving, But you must also realize that Afrobeat is not the only genre of music in Africa. There are other genres of music that are actually talking about these things. There's high life, there is hip life in Ghanaians.
Yeah.
There is Fuji, there's Akpala, there's
What do you expect Buju Banton to get from Ashake?
Please don't come for me, people. But he has a point in that Wizkid's, was it made in Lagos? Was very heavy on the Jamaican influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
He totally switched up his style, and it was the main influence on that album. And of course, it went global, and it was beautiful. Burna has always, from the beginning, from Like to Party, he does the Fuji fusion with the Jamaican influence. Burna has been on that wave. Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, he kind of had like this Shabarank's hair.
At some point. Yeah, you were right.
And other African countries, Lucky Dube, you could hear the Jamaican influence, right? In Nigeria, as far back as, I want to say the 70s, the 80s, where we had the Mandators, we had Raskimono, we had Black.
Side Tongue, Oritz Willie Key. These guys have always...
Even Charlie Boy.
The case of Afrobeats and Jamaica is like the case of the little sister who keeps going into her big sister's closet to wear her clothes without permission. Why do I need to ask you for permission? What's yours is mine. We're the same. So please, Buju, legend, forgive us for what seems like clumsiness. It's not deliberate. For me, it goes without saying. You can hear the Jamaican influence. We're one. Patoranking at some point was even on the islands, was in the Caribbeans. Afrobeats is huge. I've heard that if you go to Jamaica, you're like a celebrity as a Nigerian, for instance. So we appreciate the appreciation.
That's not because of the music, though. It's because of what the Yoruba demons are doing, representing the culture. Let me tell you something. As much as we want to give credit to Afrobeats for going mainstream, we also should not throw away the work that Yoruba demons and the Igbo angels have done with American women. I'm telling you. Careful. You see this love for Afrobeats, it did not just come from Burna Boy's voice or Wizkid's in brown skin girl. No. Brown skin girl. That Yoruba demons, our Nigerian men, So they also have to give us credit for, promoting. What's that thing that is doing it for the culture? No, I've always been a fan of Burna Boy, even before he sold 10,000 copies. Burna Boy should do a collabo with Buju, and all of this will be settled.
Thank you so much, guys. And remember, one Africa,
One tribe.